When it comes to continents, Australia might be the smallest, but it's one of the kind. It's the only one fully under the control of a single country. Now, we all know Australia has a huge land mass, but not many realize just how sparsely populated it is. Let me break it down for you in a way that will put it into perspective. Everyone knows it's enormous in terms of land. But what's often overlooked is how sparsely populated it actually is. Picture is, Australia is comparable in size to the lower 48 US states, but its population is just a little over 26 million. Yes, you heard it right. Two American states, California and Texas, have more people than the whole Australian continent. You won't believe this. England alone, without the rest of the UK, has more than double the population of Australia. It's mind-boggling, but true. To top it off, there are 7 significantly smaller islands across the globe with higher populations than Australia. Can you believe it? Even little Java, an island 60 times smaller than Australia, has nearly 6 times its population. Talk about an eye-opener. Now you might be wondering where everyone is living on this vast continent. Well, brace yourself for this one. Around 90% of Australians live in relatively small urban areas that account for just 0.22% of Australia's total land area. Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth and Adelaide are the major cities where nearly 2 out of every 3 Australians call home. So much for the outback. Let's dive into the fascinatingly bizarre situations created by Australia's unique population distribution. For example, take the Shire of East Pilbara in Western Australia. It's roughly the size of Japan, but only around 10,000 people call it home. Talk about having space to spread out. And get this, there's the Pastoral Unincorporated Area in South Australia, adjacent to the city of Adelaide. That's roughly the size of France, but inhabited by a mere 3,750 people. It's like a land of vast wilderness mixed with a small town. But wait, it gets crazier. Have you ever heard of Anna Creek? It's a privately owned cattle ranch occupying an area slightly larger than Israel, and yet it's home to just 8 full-time employees and around 10,000 cows. You'd think it's a country or a government entity, but nope, it's a massive ranch with a tiny human population. So, what makes Australia so sparsely populated and challenging for large civilizations to flourish? Well, the obvious answer is the vast desert and the dangerous wildlife. But that's only part of the story. The real explanation is much more complex. Australia's geography and location pose unique challenges. Its western side is bounded by cold ocean currents from Antarctica, making large-scale evaporation and rain clouds formation difficult. In the east, the Great Dividing Range of mountains restricts rain clouds from the Pacific, creating a rain shadow effect over the interior. As if that's not enough, the lack of tall mountains on the continent makes it tough for air to rise and cool into rain. Furthermore, Australia's location straddling the tropics and subtropics subjects it to hot and dry conditions from the subtropical high-pressure belt. If that wasn't challenging enough, Australia has to deal with the unpredictable El Niño and La Niña events in the southern Pacific. During El Niño, the continent faces drought-like conditions leading to devastating bushfires. Freshwater scarcity is a big issue in Australia, despite having substantial freshwater resources compared to many countries. The continent's erratic rainfall patterns and lack of large rivers make water availability a challenge. The Murray-Darling Basin is the most significant river system, But it's not enough to sustain large-scale agriculture in the vast interior. Only about 6% of Australia's land is suitable for agriculture. But considering its immense size, that's still a lot of usable farmland. However, northern Australia's soils, shaped by millions of years of weathering and erosion, aren't conducive to agriculture. Throughout history, Australia remained isolated from other major land masses, allowing for unique and separate evolution of its wildlife. It was only around 50,000 years ago that humans first arrived in Australia. Sea level changes cut off the continent from New Guinea, isolating it even further. This isolation, along with the challenging environment, impacted population growth. Australia started its modern era of industrialization with a population much smaller than any other inhabited continent. Gold rushes brought some immigrants, but it wasn't until after World War II that the country encouraged more diverse European immigration. Finally, in 1973, the White Australia policy ended and multiculturalism flourished. Fast forward to the 21st century, and Australia is a vibrant multicultural nation. Immigration from Asia, especially China and India, has brought diversity to the continent. With nearly 1 in 3 people born outside Australia, the country has become a melting pot of cultures. As Australia's population is projected to grow, the country will continue to grapple with environmental challenges, uncertain climate changes, and maintaining sustainable agriculture. But one thing is for sure, Australia's vastness and diversity will always make it a unique and fascinating place to call home. So there you have it, folks, the untold story of Australia's sparse population and the journey from isolation to a multicultural nation. It's a land of surprises, challenges, and the triumph of human spirit, all wrapped in one vast and beautiful continent.